Hey, welcome back to another episode and the last of the season of the Legendary Sports Podcast. Man, it's weird to
Man,
say
you
that
choking
first
up
thing.
over there like
I
we ain't gonna
know,
have no more, man. Hey
getting
man,
sentimental,
give it a
man.
round
It's
of
just the last of the
applause, man.
season. We'll be
We made
back.
it.
We'll be
We
back.
made it
But
through the whole season. Let's
I
go.
know we did, man. This is
That's
wild. So,
that's big
um,
time, man.
yeah, as you know, I'm Jared Michelson, your host, and that is
Antoine Beeks, what's up,
And
baby?
and man, is it a blessing to have rode this roller coaster with this man right here. Very grateful for to get through a season and do this together, the ups and downs, the I should say downs, but the technical difficulties. But I'm glad we went through them and we learned and we'll grow for next season. So
Hey man, thank you, man. Hey, I can't thank you enough for taking time away from your family,
same to
spending
you.
time with me. Hey man,
No,
and most importantly, man, growing our friendship. This has
very much so.
definitely grown our friendship
A
for
lot.
sure. So
And this is what
thank you
fantasy
for that.
football can do. It can grow friendships or it can make you enemies, but it can definitely grow
Hey,
friendship.
hey, we've been enemies just a little, listen,
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
little bit. You,
Yep.
hey, you,
But
hey, you took me out the playoffs. You sent me down to the third seed, man.
yes, somebody had to, but
Yeah.
next year could be you versus Jake. So next year could be you versus Jake.
Man, I'm not giving Jake no credit, man. If for all of you guys that want to know, I lost the third place game. Jared,
I lost the
what'd you
first
do?
place game, so
So
but yeah,
Jared
I'll take
was
two. It's been a while since I've been second. I think I've struggled the last few years and been like third or lower. So I think I got a lot of second, a lot and a few third place finishes. So you know, I'll live.
you know, I
Second and
felt
fourth.
like I could have finished better. I felt like I should have finished better.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. It is
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, AJ Brown, man, towards the end of the season,
Hmm.
he wasn't a number one overall pick.
Yeah.
Um, he didn't play like it. I drafted Jonathan Taylor. He missed the first 4 weeks.
Hmm.
He came back. He had a couple of huge games. Then he got injured.
Yep.
So that was that. I drafted Devontae Adams high, man, and I thought anybody who drafted Devontae Adams in the second round, if you got him in the third round, good night. I don't know what everybody else was drafting and doing, but that's a blessing to you because that's
Yeah.
probably where he should have been.
Hmm.
But um, getting him in the second round, I got him with Jimmy G as a quarterback.
Hmm.
And what I was thinking with that is that Jimmy G's a proven winner. I didn't think that he would struggle as much and do as much as he did and miss as many throws as he did and stuff like that.
Some of that could be
But
Josh McDaniels
or it
in the
could be Josh
offense.
McDaniels. I mean,
They never went back to Jimmy G after they canned him, so I don't know what to think of that situation.
I don't know either. But I also drafted Terry McLaurin, who didn't seem to be Sam Howell's number one guy. It was Jahan Dotson and then a little bit of Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
So I kind of got smoked around a little bit. Then I ended up with
How did AJ Brown finish out the season?
not good, but what was my tight end? Mark Andrews. And then
Yeah, that injury didn't help.
Mark Andrews got injured. So I think that was a little bit of my bug. I felt like if there was a little bit better of quarterback play for Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews don't get hurt, and Jonathan Taylor not so much in and out my lineup. Um, and Terry McLaurin being who Terry McLaurin has been all the way up until this year. I think
Hmm.
I might have been a little bit better off. But it's fantasy. It is what it is. People do what they do, and you just gotta go with that. But you asked how AJ Brown finished off. He was decent for me. He finished with 9 points in the final week, but it was 14, 10, 15, 19, 14. He had a game with one, you know, but before he had that game, it started when he had that game with one, but he was at 22, 38, 20, 20, 29, 33, 20. And then he had that game with 1 point. And then from there, it just went down. He started averaging 15 points per game after that, after averaging 24
Yep.
points a game. So, those 10 points, that's big, especially when you got a guy like Devontae Adams who averaged five, you know.
Yeah, I get the average piece because like Tyreek Hill battling the ankle injury towards the end of the season didn't really help me. Like, he had a decent game the week before with 18, but he had 13 the last week. So it's just like, oh man, that's not the guy I drafted who was like 25 plus a game. Like I needed 30-point Tyreek, not 13-point Tyreek. So I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Like your studs didn't, come through where they needed to come through. Again, for me, some of my big pieces and some of my little pieces, like Bijan was so up and down. He was kind of hard to trust. I'm glad I got him and then got him in a second, but he was a hard person to kind of trust throughout the season. Alvin Kamara fell off the map for some reason. Like he was a great pick and he was great to get me to the playoffs, but in the playoffs he was nobody. ETN came back alive with 25 points, which was nice to see. Um, but it was kind of tough, man. My team. I had good players, but they had a lot of bad situations. I had T. Higgins and Garrett Wilson. Well, Garrett Wilson lost Aaron Rodgers. T. Higgins lost Joe Burrow. So it was just kind of, and he had some good games, but not to what he could have. So now, question is, who were your best pickups of the season and or late round draft picks? That is because I'm curious to see. Not that it's going to be all the same next year, but who you might be able to snag late. Like for me, I think I can get Rashee Rice in like the 6th round or something, and he was pretty good.
I think one that I mean, when I look at my team, I don't think that I had a steal.
Oh,
I
really?
don't
You
think
think?
I had I don't think I had a steal. Adam Thielen. I got Adam Thielen late.
See, that's
I
a
will
good
keep
one.
I keep an eye out on Adam Thielen and see where he ends up. I don't think that he stays in Carolina. I think he goes somewhere where he can chase a little bit of a
Yeah, he's gotta
ring.
get a ring, man. He can't be on the rebuild team. That can't be where he stops. No.
And if you keep your eye out on Adam Thielen, he still has shown that he has a little bit left in the tank. And
Yeah.
if he can go somewhere like a Kansas City, a Baltimore, a Philly, you know,
Oh yeah, he can help out there a lot. Yep,
Cleveland, you know, Buffalo, somewhere like that where he's not necessarily the guy.
that's right. You said Baltimore, but yeah, get
Oh,
him.
okay. I thought you was, yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, if he can go somewhere where he's not necessarily the guy, and they could set him up for a good chance to possibly win, I think Adam Thielen can be somebody that you could snag late.
Hmm. I agree
Another
with that.
another guy, I guess I snagged this guy kind of late, and I think that he he killed it, man. Um, Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh yeah. What round did you get Pacheco in? Like the fifth, sixth?
Yeah, I got him in the 6th round.
That's a good move.
And here's the thing. I think that there's so many running backs and there's so many people that's high on these new running backs coming in, and there's gonna be more running backs coming in next year. And there's gonna be the Bijans and the Jameer Gibbs and the David Montgomerys. Was David Montgomery happy with his, satisfied with his situation? And then you got guys like Aaron Jones, who had a down year, but people are still high on.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams, who led the league in touchdowns last year and didn't have one until the final drive of this season. Where does he end up? You got all of these guys, Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift had a good year. What about
Hmm.
Kenneth Gainwell? What are they going to do there? There's so many running backs that people are kind of people fell asleep on Isaiah Pacheco. And I think that's going to be the case again for next year because he was he wasn't a top 5 running back by any means, but he was definitely a top 10. And once you get outside the top 5, it's all about who you like most.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think I'm hoping this happens to Bijan just because he would be a steal. I'm thinking he's gonna go in the second and third round because of how he ended the season and because of how like the Falcons weren't very good. I'm hoping to kind of snag him in that area because the hype was there this year, but because it was a terrible team and bad offense, I'm hoping he's one of those guys that slips a little bit. So into one of those spots, not gonna be in the fourth round, but at least in the third round, that could be a if they figure it out for next year, that could be a steal. It could be like so that happened to Todd Gurley like 3 years ago after he like tore his ACL, did all that stuff. Then he came back in the McVay offense and ran train. Well, he's in the third round, right? I picked him up in the third round. Oh my goodness, I dominated the league that year. I had Christian McCaffrey in the early round, and I had Todd Gurley in the third round. I was just cooking. I hope that's the case.
I mean, I got a couple guys also that I think will be sleepers for next year that
Jalen
people
Warren, that's mine. I think
that
Najee
wasn't
goes
my
somewhere else, man. I think Najee goes somewhere else.
hey, he got 1,000 yards this year, just so you're aware.
Yeah, he did. No, and they used him as such. Like they did, but I don't think he stays in Steeler rebuild nation. I don't think so.
I don't know. I tell you one thing, he won't be on my roster next year.
You don't want to deal with the ups and downs.
I don't, man. He was a heartache, man. He was a heartache. But I tell you somebody who's probably solidified themselves a spot, and that's Devin Singletary. He's always been a good running back and never been given a fair chance. But I think he clearly beat
False.
out
He was given a decent chance in Buffalo. He just couldn't figure everything out. He got better
decent.
though.
He was
He did
you
get
said
better.
decent.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
That means he wasn't given the best chance. But I think he earned his way down there in Texas.
I think so too. I don't know. The Damian Pierce stuff was weird. I guess we'll see kind of how that goes. But yeah, it's gonna be because Damian Pierce still has he's came off his surgery from last year. Yeah, he didn't come back like Brees Hall did, but he still has a chance to find his way back and healthy. So I don't know. I don't want to discount him too much. Um, I guess it's a wait and see. I don't know if it'll be Texans or what, or if there'll be a two-headed backfield, but I think he'll get more love next year. I think that they'll find a way to use him better. He'll feel more confident too. I don't know. I don't know if I'll hang up on Damian Pierce completely. Because I had him the first year and when he was a rookie last year, and he was actually pretty good for most of the year.
Yeah, his rookie year, he was a stud. He was a stud his
Yeah.
rookie
So
year.
I don't know if the injury bounce back wasn't there for him or what. You don't know when people come back. Not everybody comes back, flying high and studly, right? So who knows?
So who was your worst pickup?
You know, it's funny. It was probably trading for Garrett Wilson. Even though I traded Zach Moss straight up for him, I feel like that didn't help me. It didn't. I barely used him throughout the season. I used him on a couple of bye weeks, and that was about it. But I couldn't trust him. If we're
He
going
killed
draft,
me. He killed me. He killed
did he?
me. Yeah, he killed me
He
in
had
the
like
playoff. In the
he had like
playoffs, man.
he had like 15 or 17 points, something like that. But
17 was a lot, man.
yeah, a lot for Wilson. I agree. Um, I think T. Higgins is one. He was because his injury and then the whole Joe Burrow situation, like because he only had a few good games in between, but otherwise it was just 4 points, 5 points, 3 points, injured, 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 injured. Like,
I think T. Higgins is a number one wide receiver talent, though, when healthy.
yeah, I
But he
agree.
can't stay healthy.
I agree. You know who also I want to consider kind of a bad pickup, although he had some good weeks towards the end. It it was Bijan, man. He had 10 points, 10 points, 13, 12. Not what you get for a first round and this or top of the second round talent. Like it was tough sledding with him all season long. So he's also somebody that's just like, man, the hype just didn't make it, you know? The hype just did not make it.
That's fair.
How about you? Or
Uh,
I mean, obviously you had. I don't know if you gave your worst pickups or worst people, but to me it's Devontae.
Devontae Adams, man. Devontae Adams.
But I'm excited for
Uh,
next year. I am. One of my better pickups was surprisingly Fields. Out of the last four games, he had 28, 28, 28, and then one 11-point game in between there. But between weeks 14 and 17, he did pretty good. And he had a 43-point game in there, a 38-point game in there. He had a couple of duds, though, 10, 11 points, but, you know, that happens. Patrick happened to Patrick Mahomes, it can happen to anybody.
don't you dare bring Justin Whack Fields and Patrick Mahomes in the same conversation. How dare
Just
you do
did.
that?
Just did.
That's terrible. You can, you know what?
Let's.
I'll give you this
I'm gonna
though.
look up where they both ended for the season in points.
I'll give you this though.
Well, Mahomes
He,
outscored him because Fields missed games, so I can't really do that. But I can look at a per game basis and kind of see where they were at. But I can't look at a total for the season because Fields missed too many games.
well, I'll give you this. Josh Fields, I called him Josh. Justin
You
Fields,
never get it right. You just straight
Justin
disrespected
Fields,
him.
he did surpass my expectations. Was he great by any
No,
measures?
I'll give you
No.
that. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But he surpassed what I thought he would do. DJ Moore helped a lot.
Yes. Oh, I will give you that. He needed a good number one to be good or at least decent as a quarterback, and I will give you that 100% that yes, he helped a ton. Not even just a lot. Like I don't know what he would do without him. I will
Yeah,
give
for
you that.
sure.
I will give you that.
For sure. Justin Fields got helped out a lot by
All right. All right.
none
So if we're
only
talking
than
fantasy points per game, Fields had 18 and Patrick Mahomes had 18.4 and 18.4. So if you put both fantasy points per game together, they both average 18.4 fantasy points per game. Patrick Mahomes and Fields.
how do you feel about Mahomes? How do you feel about his year?
Disappointing. He did not have the boom weeks that you would ever think that he would normally have. So I would definitely say it was disappointing. Was he a good player? Of course he is. He's a good player. He still threw for what 4,000 yards or whatever the case may be. So he still made his way, but not in the same way that you would expect from Patrick Mahomes.
Who do you think had the best fantasy season this past year?
Well, it'll be Tyreek Hill. Um, are we talking any position?
Any position. Give me
Christian
two
McCaffrey.
people.
Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey. Um, trying to think if
Just
there's any,
two.
trying to think if there's any good quarterbacks that had like an elite year. Joe Flacco. No, I'm just kidding.
Joe Flacco lit it up, man.
Yeah, he did though. CD Lamb. CD
So I
Lamb.
was gonna go CD Lamb. I was gonna
But
go CD. I was gonna go CD Lamb and Puka Nakua.
Puka's good. Jameer Gibbs ended up cooking towards the end.
I mean, from start to finish, man.
Oh, start to
CD
finish,
Lamb,
Kyrie Williams.
CD Lamb, and Puka Nakua.
Yeah.
From start to finish, man, them boys lit it up.
Yeah, I could also I don't know if Amon Ra had any down weeks, but I would say Amon Ra was pretty consistent most of the year too. Amon Ra was a pretty big
I
beast
tell you who
this year.
wasn't Jared Goff, man. He killed me. Jared Goff killed me, man.
Yeah,
I
fair.
was so upset with Jared Goff a lot of the time. Like, bro, really?
Off Goff,
Bro,
man. A roller
really?
coaster. So now that begs the question, does it pay to aim for a earlier round quarterback?
No,
Because
because I
because you
don't.
could okay, I agree with your answer. I was just gonna say, just because like you have the Mahomes on one side where you draft him in the second or third round, and what you get, and then you have the opposite side where you draft Goff, and it's just like, what do you get? In like rounds 9 and 10.
I think that you could get good quarterback play from anywhere, right? And it really just depends. More oftentimes than not, people aren't trying to fill a one quarterback league with two QB roster spots,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can go out and pick up a quarterback. However, there's not one quarterback from start to finish that just tore the league apart.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of QBs, and I can't think of anybody. Dak Prescott had some good weeks, but he slowed down a bit. Tua was inconsistent. Everybody had weeks. It wasn't like there was one, you're right, from start to finish that was like, whoa, what? So yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think that you could have got all of that quarterback play somewhere else at another time, for
I
sure.
agree. Josh Allen finished strong. Like he finished with like 26, 22, 25. Like he finished strong, but he had some down weeks like everybody else did. But for the most part, Josh Allen's actually pretty good. Wow. I was looking at his stats. Not bad. I didn't have to
Man,
put what's that?
Josh Allen held on to the ball too long. He was making me upset for
Well,
not
it's
getting
because he
Gabe
wants to make
Davis.
the big play. He's a big play. I'm gonna go for it all Brett Favre style. Like I'm gunslinging it all over the place. Like uh,
That's true.
so who do you think is the quarterback that's gonna be a possible top 12 or top 10 quarterback next year? Like I'm looking at people like Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud, people who Sam Howell, like Trevor Lawrence. Do you think they make it?
Kyler Murray.
Ah, you think he gets kind of back into what he should
I
be?
think Kyler Murray gets back into where Kyler Murray
Yep.
was. I
Gotcha.
think I think that Arizona Cardinals team next year is going to be a lot better.
I
I
think so.
think that I think that there's people who's going to want to come into the desert to play with Kyler Murray for the
Yeah.
Cardinals. I think that there's going to be a lot of pieces out there, and I think that that rookie wide receiver that they got, I think he's going to take another step in the right
Michael
direction.
Wilson.
Yeah, and be a little bit better. Um,
Yeah.
do I think that there's a free agent out there, wide receiver, that may be able to come in and help them out? I'd have to look and see who's all on free agents this
Bring D
summer.
Hop back.
Um, they ain't bringing Hot back.
No.
But they're I think that they will make some. I think that they will make some strides with Kyler Murray. That
Mhm.
defense, sure up that defense a little bit more at some spots, and
Yep.
I think they'll just be excited to have a quarterback and be able to be in some games. With the emergence of Trey McBride, I think Kyler Murray is it.
Oh yeah, Trey McBride's gonna be a beast. That's gonna be
I
a top
think
five, top three tight end possibly for sure. You know who else is gonna
also
be? Watch out for Tyler Croft for the Green Bay Packers. He did very well towards the end of the season and caught Jordan Love's eye quite a bit. So watch out for that one.
um Jordan Love's another one, but somebody who needs to make a statement next year
Mm-hmm.
at the quarterback spot, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, you're right. Like he's so inconsistent. Like he was his rookie year really set a tone for him, and because everybody was
And
so
then he just
surprised,
fell
but
off.
his next 2 year seasons, you're right. Like he's wavy as a QB. He's not elevating the people around him enough. So and now he's had one very bad offensive line. Don't get me wrong, it is awful, and his coach is basically Cliff Kingsbury Jr. So get rid of his coach, and we'll see what happens. But I agree with you. Even with that, you should be a little bit more productive than he has been. I agree with you 100% there.
So I think that's one to take a look at. I think they do. I think the Chargers do their due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they bring in a proven head coach. I don't think they bring in a guy, one of these young hot shots that they trying to. I think they bring in a proven head coach,
Mm-hmm.
someone like a Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like a Bill Belichick, a Mike Zimmer.
Yeah.
Someone who's proven that they've won, that they've
Mm-hmm.
been there, and get after it that way.
Yeah, I
Matt
agree.
Nagy,
Matt Nagy, yep, that'd be a good one.
um, Mike Tomlin has been circling out there.
Mm.
That'll be a good start for Mike. Fresh start for
Yeah,
Mike
maybe he needs
Tomlin.
to do something different than the Steelers the last 20 years or whatever it's been. My goodness.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
that'll
who do
be
you
interesting
think?
to see. I'd like to see some coaching changes just to see what they could do with different personnel. I think that would just make the league so interesting. These coaches that have been on their teams for so long to see what they can do in a different environment.
I think Mike Tomlin leaves. I don't think that he does well. Oh, um, John Harbaugh from Michigan.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, he comes back. Yeah.
I think he'd be a good fit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I think he'd be a good fit as well.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
So, what running back do you think makes a big statement next year?
Christian McCaffrey.
Well, that's obvious, right? I'm drafting him with the number one
No,
overall
I think
pick.
Saquon actually does a good job. Like he did pretty well this year. He had some ups and downs and everything like that, but he actually did pretty well. But I think once they figure out the offense, the quarterback, and get something good going there, I think Saquon's gonna go. I think he's got a couple more seasons of being that dude. I think he's got two more left, and then we'll kind of see. But he's just so talented, man. Even through all the woes, he's just so talented. So he's definitely one. Let's see, who else do I think makes a splash for next year? Um, I think your boy Pacheco does. Oh man, I'm trying to think of. Oh, James Cook. I think he does better. I think he actually does better next year. He was the guy this year, and they used him as such. But I think now that he has a full grasp of the offense, I think that yeah, he'll be good.
I'd like to see. Speaking of Saquon, going back to Saquon, I'd like to see Saquon somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I would too. That still leaves him in a good category, but I would like to see him on a competitive team. So
Somebody that had a
Ravens.
decent. You always trying to plug those Ravens, man.
He's got to go for a championship team, man. So next
Man,
thing he'll be.
somebody who had a decent season but was kind of hurt, and I expect him to come back and do a really good job. Um, Khalil Herbert,
Yeah, he finished pretty strong. He finished the last week pretty well.
he did, and I was thoroughly impressed with him. So I think Khalil Herbert comes back, and I think he does great.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I think Kamara does pretty well. I think the Saints figure out something. I don't know if he'll stay with the Saints, but wherever he goes, I think he'll be fine. He's super good at football, so he
You
just
don't
needs to
think
be
he
on a
stays with the
team.
Saints?
What's that?
You don't think he stays with the Saints?
I don't know why he'd want to. He's spinning his tires down there when he needs to be competing for a championship, man. You know what?
Man,
You know what
that's
he could do if he was with Mahomes or Hurts or the Ravens or Buffalo or any of these other teams.
yeah, but those guys have it already. The only place that don't have it is
I know.
Baltimore.
I'm just saying, like you could totally upgrade. I mean, like I like James Cook, and he could be Kamara esque, but
DeAndre Swift is not Kamara esque.
I would
What
take Kamara
about
over Swift.
what about Isaiah Pacheco? He's just had a great year.
Yeah, but I still think Kamara's a better overall talent. Like you don't need to use Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Jerick McKinnon when you have Kamara who can do all the things that those guys can do by himself.
Fair.
So
That's fair.
yeah,
Wide receiver now. We on to wide receivers. Where's the wide receivers at?
Debo, Rasheed Rice, Tank Dell when he comes back. Those are guys I like.
Man, that's tough. Uh, I don't think Tank Dell comes back like he was.
I think he'll be okay.
I don't think so.
I think he'll be just fine.
I don't think he's gonna be ready for the beginning of the season.
No, no, I'm just saying when he does come back, he'll be okay. It'll take a little slow start, but he'll be. Michael Wilson, I think, like you said before, I think he'll be someone that you can catch late. So and be maybe a number 2, 3 for your team. Um. Oh. Romeo Dubs,
No, Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed too. I think both of them. I think both of them will be fine. I think Christian Watson moves down to number 3 on that team.
It's fair to say he's out of there, huh?
Yeah, just because he's so hurt and he doesn't build any chemistry, have time to build any chemistry with Jordan Love. Where these other guys are clearly out there, right? So, but yeah,
How do you feel about Michael Thomas? What do you think he does when he comes back?
I don't even know anymore. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is. I hope the best for him though. I do. But I don't know what his career trajectory is. He just needs to go to a team that he can just help with. Like, you know how Juju Smith went to the KC and just kind of was a guy there to help? I think that's what you just got to do. Just be a locker room guy. You're still good. You still got good hands. You maybe not be as fast or as versatile, but you'll still be an asset. But yeah.
Well, let's just switch over to some regular talk for these last couple minutes. What do you think? What do you think the real playoffs is going to be like, and how does that look for you? Who do you have coming out the AFC, NFC, and who do you have
Mm.
winning it all, and why?
Ravens are the AFC just because their offense and defense is very good and they're very clicking and yeah, not just to be a homer. I am a homer, but I think they're it. And then NFC, it's close between. I still as bad as the Eagles have been. Actually, I kind of think Dallas, which is weird. I know San Francisco's been good, but they've shown some weakness, and so has. I mean, they all have, but I think kind of Dallas might actually. Kind of weird to say, but yeah, Dallas. Dallas.
Ooh, that's a big one, Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to go with man. I thought it was. I honestly thought it was gonna be the Dolphins, the way that
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek and those boys was putting up points down there.
Yeah.
But you know, I have to go against you. Is this I have to, right?
Mm.
So I'm gonna say the Bills finally get over the hump.
Interesting. Maybe they've been cooking the last few. They look like a well gelled team, and they could definitely compete against the Ravens. I believe that.
The Bills get over the hump,
Mm-hmm.
and the Philadelphia Eagles go back.
That's possible. They looked kind of rough the last games of the season. So
They did, but I think it's something to be said about being there before, right?
yeah,
About being in those moments, having that pressure, and performing. You know,
that's true. That's true. I agree.
so I think they go back.
Well, we'll see what the playoffs hold, baby. They come soon. They're coming soon. So we'll see what happens.
Any
Oh
bold
man.
predictions you want to make? You want to make any dinner bets? I already owe you a dinner.
Oh no, man. I'm good. I'll take my two
He
to
said I
one
gotta
decision.
cash in my dinner.
Yep. Yep. So we still
He
gotta make
said
that one
2-1.
happen. Yep. So no, it was a good time. Good time making bets. Good time rocking the podcast and doing our thing, man. But this season coming to a close.
Well, man, I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you
Yeah.
from the bottom of my heart, man, for spending, like I said, your time, your days, your nights,
You
you
too.
know,
Been a
doing
blessing.
things for the podcast and
Been
and
a real
being there for
joy.
me and just, uplifting each other and just being here, man. So I want to say thank you.
Yes,
Can't
thank
wait to
you.
get back to it, man.
Yes, sir. We'll be back sometime here in the off season, not too long and not too far, but there'll be some new things that you'll see from our podcast and everything like that, and take it to an upgrade direction, and we'll make some things happen. So,
Thank you guys
love
very
you guys
much
for
for
listening.
tuning in with
Appreciate
us.
y'all.
We love you guys, man. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yes. Till next season.
Till
Later.
next season.